Hello and welcome to Living with Favor, where we talk about faith, abundance, vitality, overflow, and relationships. We are here to inspire and encourage you and the entrepreneurial spirit in you. The promise of this show is to introduce you to expert guests who will help us uncover the secrets of living with favor and growing our businesses. I'm your host, Lisa Mosbey. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me offer you a little bit of advice. I have been in business for 40 years. I have acquired an enormous amount of friends who are entrepreneurs. I love to invite them in here to share what they've learned, what they do, what they don't, their successes and failures. And it's November this month. We're discussing gratitude, giving, and grace. Today's focus is all about gratitude to greatness. You know, for me, the definition of gratitude, or the definition that resonates with me, is gratitude is a quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to return kindness. You know, gratitude isn't difficult, and we all have access to it, and it's free for people to experience. How do you show up and be grateful? Or how does gratitude show up for you in your life? You know, today I want to talk about some of the benefits, and I'm going to kick this off with like the emotional benefits of gratitude. Did you know gratitude helps you to feel good? Maybe cause you to be more relaxed, more resilient, less envious, having happy memories. Gratitude is when we take a look at our life and start to experience it from a different perspective. So today's all about a checklist. You know, I have 1 through 8, I think, on reasons we should do gratitude, but gratitude makes us nicer and more trusting. Number 1, we get to be more social, more appreciative. It helps us to create deeper relationships with our friends, or create deeper relationships with family. Gratitude can actually improve marriages, so they say. It reduces the feelings of envy, causing appreciation for our own memories, letting us experience good feelings, and helps us to bounce back from stress. Number 2, those that have more gratitude have more proactive coping style. They're more likely to have and seek out social support in times of need. You know, as we're coming into the giving season, we're in November right now. It can be hard for folks who have lost a loved one, or might be single, or experiencing difficulties in their life. And when we can get into a state of gratitude, we're more likely to ask for help if we need it. Some say that this even lessens the likelihood to develop PTSD and other types of emotional traumas, or emotional dis-ease within our system, if we can get our mind into a state of gratitude and being thankful for what we do have, rather than focusing on what is missing or what we don't have. Number 3, I love stats and studies. Y'all know I'm a nerd. You've listened to me enough times. So 20% of Americans, compared to 50% of Europeans, say that gratitude is a positive and constructive emotion. And that's from the Pew Research Center. They did, I can't remember how many surveys it was, but in 2017, they did public opinion surveys that were to measure the gauge of relationships and the relationships that we have with other people. And that was, they compared those studies between the US and Germany. So, you know, there's data out there about gratitude and happiness and joy. And the reason that we research this is because it can have a profound effect on our life. Number 4 is, according to gratitude, researcher Robert Emmons, says that gratitude isn't just a state of being, it is happiness. It's happiness itself. And we recognize, after an act of kindness from others, that that gratitude helps us to feel good. You know, when people praise us, or they appreciate us, or show gratitude, or express gratitude towards us, it raises up our mood. It improves our level of happiness. Why wouldn't we do that for other people? If that's how we receive, how can we give that to everyone we meet as we come through their path? Another word that comes to mind for me here is edification. In the Bible, it talks about edifying people. Edifying is just recognizing the good in them and telling them to their face, rather than talking about people behind their back and saying, "Oh, Lisa, she's so great, man. I love her. Tell me to my face. What is it that I inspire in you? What is it that I encourage in you? How can we share that with other people?" Because when we express or our edification, when we lift people up, they're more likely to do more of that. They're going to go out in the world and spread that to other people. So how can we express edification and help with improving other people's memories, improving the community we live in? Number 5, gratitude, considered a virtue in all major religions and modern cultures. Wow. When can we say in religion that we're all on the same page? Gratitude does that. Gratitude actually creates community and brings us together. May not be sexy to be grateful, but people will respect you for it. And we're changing lives one compliment, one kindness at a time. Yesterday was actually Kindness Day in the United States. Every day signifies something. So yesterday was Kindness Day. So this really fits into that. Number 6, gratitude is the acknowledgement of kindness with thanks. When we appreciate people, gratitude is a little bit different than saying thank you, right? We can, off the cuff, "Oh, thanks, thank you, thanks a bunch, thanks so much." Lots of ways to say thank you. But what does gratitude look like when we're expressing thanks? We use specific terms like, "Thank you so much for inspiring me today. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today." Adding that extra sentence onto the back of expressing gratitude really shows that you're listening, that the people that you're spending time with are feeling your presence and you're feeling their presence. Gratitude is being thankful, but with a little bit more depth, with a little bit more clarity to ensure that the person understands what you were expressing to them. Number 7, gratitude is to acknowledge what we didn't get to where we are, that we didn't get to where we are on our own, and that with other, boy, having tongue tied today, and without others, we may never have made it there, right? No man is an island. We need community. It takes a village. There's lots of sayings built around this, how gratitude for those people in your life that have helped you to raise your children, that to grow your business, to help you further your education. It takes a village. We don't do this world alone. We don't do this life alone. How do we express gratitude for those people that are there with us and doing it with us? Have you ever felt alone, isolated by yourself, gone off to contemplate, and then you come back to community? What does that feel like for you? We can create that sense of community, that sense of belonging, by being grateful for the folks that are in our life right here, right now, today, in this moment. When you stop watching the show, when you hang up the phone from your next business client, who can you reach out to and text a moment of gratitude and a sentiment of appreciation? It's going to bond you and bring you closer with that community. Knowing that we're not alone, that we're not an island, and that when we're grateful for the people in our life and we express that belonging gets deeper within us, and we start to realize that we aren't alone, that we are supported by people in our world. Number 8, start a conversation or move a relationship forward with an expression of gratitude. Thank you for the coffee. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit on number 6, I think it was. Thank you for the coffee. Rather than just saying thank you to your barista for your morning coffee, what if you said thank you for the coffee and your smile? Thank you for your kind words this morning. Just that little bit of extra. See what happens. Will it change the energy in the room? Does it change the dynamic of the next conversation that you have when you dig a little bit deeper? I have a friend who deeply thanks me for taking time to see her. Every time I go to visit her, she expresses this appreciation because, she's alone and she loves the company and we have great conversations. And I have to say that I always look forward to the next time that I get to go see her. There's some friends that they're, we lift them up by showing up. They live in a lower vibration. They have more struggles and challenges than other people, and they're stuck in those challenges. Those folks are harder to go see. They're harder to pick up the phone and call. When you're feeling appreciated, you don't mind listening to somebody's troubles. You don't mind helping them figure things out because they appreciated it. They complimented you and said thank you for being with them. How are we showing up? When people help you, when people are influencing your life, are you expressing that appreciation strongly so that they want to do it again? Or, are they feeling like, yeah, I'm good, I'll see Lisa next quarter, she's not somebody that I want to be around? It works both ways. We can give gratitude, but we can also receive it from other folks by allowing them to communicate how they feel about us. And I think you'll notice a difference if you give it a try next time. All right, social benefits of gratitude. When we're expressing our gratitude for people in social environments, there's a kindness that shows up and an inclusion, a community that happens when we express gratitude for the people in our world. We may have more friends. How many of us struggle to find those deep, meaningful friendships? We have acquaintances at work. We have acquaintances in the neighborhood. We say hi to folks. We have acquaintances at the grocery store, everywhere we go. But are they really friendships? Are they the deep relationships that we as human beings desire and crave to be part of, and the belonging? So that the social benefits of gratitude show up really in the relationships that we have. There's multiple studies that have shown that gratitude induces pro-social behavior. When we're grateful for the people in our life, we want to spend more time with them. We're less likely to isolate ourselves. A friend of mine, I think maybe some of you have watched the Audacious Confidence series last month with Jackie Simmons. Jackie and I were talking about this idea of how we connect with people, how we, when we express this gratitude, how it induces this social behavior and we get to belong to people. We have some listeners here. I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in today, and feel free to listen. If you want to stick around to the end of my little rant this morning, we'll chat about this. We'll dig a little bit deeper. So for those of you that join live, I just wanted to express gratitude for you being here and supporting me on this mission, this podcast to share with women around the world to induce their confidence. So thank y'all for being here. That's what Jackie and I were talking about, that confidence to express our gratitude. Scientists have actually put numbers to some of this stuff. Intuition and how we experience gratitude, creating an appreciation. I think it's actually called appreciation to nagging ratio, the appreciation to nagging ratio. It's called the Losada ratio, and it's LOSADA. And it's an interesting idea. They've actually measured the total number of positive expressions on our face that support encouragement and appreciation versus disapproval or cynicism or sarcasm, I think is the word that they used. And they study this in relationships, in marital relationships, in friendship relationships. And there's this ratio that they came up with. I will drop the actual link to the study in the notes if you want to dig deeper into this. I'm not going to go into too nerdy into this, but I wanted to bring your attention to it because what they're saying is that there's a direct connection between the joy that we experience or express on our face when we lean into conversations, when we express acceptance to friends and spouses when they're speaking, whether we agree or disagree. Our body language actually can help improve our relationship when we listen to them from a place of gratitude and love, like having love in your heart when you're listening to someone. What was it? I can't remember the statistics on it, but it talked about how how it affects marriages in particular. You got to read the study. I don't want to quote things that I don't know the exact numbers to, but I was fascinated by this idea of just how your facial expressions, your body language, it makes sense, but if we don't study it, don't look at it, we don't realize how important it is. So check out the Losado ratio and see, when you're talking, when you look in the mirror, and maybe pretend you're looking in the mirror and talking to your spouse, are you, low energy, not really into the conversation? Or is it like, wow, tell me more about that? Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that with me. There's a difference. It changes the energy in the room, whether it's with your friends, your family, your relationships. How about coworkers? Do you have somebody that challenges you, maybe you don't get along with, but you'd love to be able to improve that relationship? If you change your behavior, perhaps that relationship will change. Maybe that's somebody who struggles with getting attention, getting heard, getting listened to because of their own demeanor, their own persona. And you just showing up, making eye contact, leaning into the conversation when you're talking to them and expressing gratitude for what they share. Thank you so much for sharing with me. I really appreciate you giving me the update. Like, it doesn't have to be a major comment or a major like you don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but just that simple sentence of thank you for the update, or I appreciate you taking your time to inform me. Maybe that makes all the difference in the world. That's going to open up the energy, open up the conversation that you can have with someone that maybe it's been a challenging relationship. So we can see huge shifts with employees or with other coworkers by changing the way we show up, which leads me into the next category of career benefits of gratitude. Better management skills as a boss, as a leader, as somebody who is supposed to rally the team. How are you managing them? How are you listening to these people? Are you expressing gratitude to them for the work that they do and how they show up in the world? Improved networking skills. When we're meeting new people in networking environments, compliment them on how they dressed or how they did their introduction. They're going to remember you versus other people who didn't do that. It's all about how you show up in a state of gratitude and appreciation for the people around you, for the environment you have, and all the things in your world. Goal achievement. When people achieve a goal, maybe they post it on LinkedIn or they post it on one of the social media platforms. Do you comment? Do you leave a little note, a message? Sometimes I say congratulations. And I realized when I was doing research for this topic that congratulations is what everybody does. How can I take that over the top? How can I add to that congratulations for when somebody really accomplishes something? They may have spent a lifetime to get to that point, and they get congratulations from us. That's not going to increase the depth of our relationships. I mean, it's great to acknowledge, at least it's the minimum, but how much effort would it take to just do it a little bit better, to do it just a little bit more? How are you going to stand out and deepen that relationship over everybody else that just said, congratulations, great job? Gratitude also helps with improved decision making. When we are in a state of gratitude, it's easier to make decisions because we have this more positive framework that we're making those decisions from versus, the doldrums, like low energy. It's harder to make decisions when we're feeling overwhelmed, but when we get in that state of gratitude. So if you're being challenged by a decision that's coming up, how can you get into a state of gratitude before making the decision? I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to choose this. I'm so grateful that I'm put in this position of authority to make this decision. That's going to lift us up versus, why does it always come to me? Why does it always land on my plate? Why do I always have to be the one to decide? Even me speaking that, you may have noticed my shoulders drop. My body language may have sunk in my chair versus, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Thank you for the opportunity. How can I excel at this? Words matter in our physiology, and improved decision-making might be an outcome if we can get into a state of gratitude, as well as increased productivity. item number, when I'm saying, yes, I got this, I can do it, I'm more likely to charge into that and get it done versus procrastinating, feeling overwhelmed, and I don't want to do this. So we can actually increase our participation, or increase our productivity when we are in a state of gratitude. Decision making is really tiring, so tiring that we try to automate it in our subconscious mind. Much of the reasoning that goes behind decision making can actually exhaust us. There's so many things that our brain has to think about. I'll give an example of, where do you want to go eat? When we have to think about if we want to go out to eat, there's the choices of the restaurant. What kind of food do we want? How much money do we want to spend? Do we want to go casual, formal, inside, outside? Like, there's so many choices. That can become overwhelming and cause us to not make a decision. That applies to bigger decisions like in the workplace, bigger decisions like parenting, bigger decisions in our relationships and how to move those forward. But if we can just look at this simple, easy example of eating out, how overwhelming can it be to think of all of those decisions? What if we shifted that, and instead of thinking in that perspective, go, oh my gosh, it's Friday night, we get to go out. Friday night is always date night. I'm so excited for. The decision will come that much faster of, oh, you know what? The weather's beautiful. Let's eat outside. That decision is easier when we're in a state of joy and appreciation and gratitude. We don't become overwhelmed by all of the details of it when our energy is high. It's when our energy is low, when we are feeling overwhelmed and speaking that over our lives, that's when decisions become overwhelming and a state of struggle. Pull out your notebook, grab your journal. When you're feeling overwhelmed, write those things down, and or maybe write down a state of mind that you can shift. Like, I'm feeling overwhelmed now about making this decision. What opportunity, what can I be grateful for with this decision? Before making the decision, try to get into a state of gratitude, of appreciation for the opportunity that's in front of you before making the decision. I don't know, good idea, bad idea? What do you think about it? Health benefits of gratitude. Next section, improved sleep quality. How many of us could use improved sleep quality? The duration, the time that we fall asleep. Gratitude can actually release stress in our body. In fact, I was going to share this at the end, but I'm going to plug it in right here and we'll talk about it again. Do you have a gratitude journal? Before going to bed, writing down something that you're grateful for today. Maybe one thing that you're grateful for, or writing that one thing that you're grateful for may expand into a paragraph and sometimes into a page, or even more than that. But just start with one thing that you're grateful for today and see if the quality of sleep isn't a little bit better. I do have a client who, they were not going to do it. It's like, I have no interest in doing that. I don't want to grab out a notebook, piece of paper, anything. And I said, well, I know you have your phone next to you, younger person, always around, phones basically attached to their hand. I said, what if you just wrote down 3 hashtags of what you were grateful for today? Hashtag, I have a job. Hashtag, the sun was shining, it was a perfect day. Hashtag, I'm so glad I have a comfy bed to crawl into. Just 3 hashtags. It doesn't have to be, it can be single words. Hashtag sunshine, hashtag paycheck, hashtag love, whatever, what works for you. Find a way to maybe seek out 1, 2, 3 different things that you might be grateful for today and see if you don't notice a difference in your sleep quality. If that's the last seed that we plant in our brain at night, that's what our brain focuses on while we're sleeping. If we're reading Facebook and having a little bit of FOMO, that fear of missing out, or if we're watching the news and hearing what's going on in the world, those are the last seeds that we put in our brain. And we all know this. I talk to so many people who say, I don't watch the news anymore. It was just affecting my sleep. It was affecting my life. So maybe you've stopped doing something that has a negative effect on your life, but how can you implement that small little itty bitty thing? Even if you can't write it down, because that's not for you. If you don't want to put it in your phone, what if you just said, every night before I go to bed, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to think of 3 things. Think of 3 things. Just thinking of it. Three things that I am grateful for today. 3 things that happened that I want to appreciate and recognize, and then drift off to sleep. Your mind will replay that record over and over as you drift off to sleep. It's going to reduce the stress in your body. I promise. It's going to cause you to be less anxious because you're seeing the joy and the things that you're appreciative of rather than stressing about what's not there or what has to come or what you have to do tomorrow. There's even a direct connection to our immunity and causing less illness to come into our lives. We can be healthier. We can improve our longevity, improve our energy. We get increased energy by being grateful. You notice that just when I'm talking about it, the energy that I have when I start to use those words that are less energetic, that are not in gratitude, my body shifts. It's like versus increased energy, more excitement, more enthusiasm for life. I encourage you, give it a try, see what happens. If we spend time thinking about a few things that we're grateful for today, it will induce the relaxation response for a longer period of time. Might even knock us out so we get a great night's sleep. The big thing about gratitude is it's safe and it's free. And everybody can use a better sleep aid. I know so many people that struggle with sleep. I think it's kind of the human condition these days. We have so much going on in our life. So use that one as a sleep aid. See what happens. Gratitude can strengthen your physiology. It can create positive emotion. It can improve our health. It can improve our mindset. And it can cause us to be happier in our life. It's a positive emotion, as they've proved through a variety of studies. People believe it to be a positive emotion, and we can tap into it. We don't have to wait for it to show up for us. We can intentionally move into gratitude and experience for ourselves every day, every minute, while we're sitting at a red light, when somebody cut us off. Oh, I'm so grateful that I have a car to drive. I'm so grateful that he's going to be way out there in front of me, away from me, so that I can just receive joy here in my car as I drive to see my kids or drive to work or visit my friend, right? We can have that. We can train our brain to have that gratitude, even in those tough times when we want to go to anger or we want to go to something else. We can choose to be gratitude. It's a shift. It's just like a little bit of a turn of the dial shift into how we're thinking and how we allow thoughts to show up in our life. If you need a little bit better coping or a little bit more management of your emotions, try gratitude. You don't need to seek help for it. It's really easy to do. And you might notice a huge change in your behavior and how you feel in the world. Gratitude can also show up. What comes to mind is illness. There's people struggling. There's people struggling with anxiety and depression and lots of different moods. Otherwise, big diseases, cancer, and nothing comes around, maybe even arthritis or what are some things that people, what I'm talking about? There's these experiences that we're having in our body, and we can get stuck in those experiences and those feelings because they're extremely painful and it's scary. And sometimes we need to give our brain a break on focusing there. And they say, if you're having a tough time, go help somebody else. And I've heard people who are experiencing cancer, they go to the hospital and they start working with other people who are sick or other people who are more sick than them. And it lifts them up and it lifts up those people. And together they find joy. If you're experiencing hardship in your health at the moment, is there a way to find gratitude? Are you gratitude for the years that you have? Are you grateful for the time that you have left with your grandkids or with your spouse? I'm not saying that it will fix the problem, but what if it could give you a little bit of peace in your heart, a little bit of a little bitty break from thinking about the trials and the tribulations and the challenges that you're experiencing? Of course, wouldn't be me if I didn't tell you that there are studies that talk about this, that they're seeing a connection for folks who can get into a state of gratitude. It can actually improve their health conditions. So give it a try. If you're somebody who's experiencing those challenges, I want you to see if maybe this will make a difference for you as well. We're coming to the end, gratitude, vitality, and joy. Gratitude, vitality, and joy are really connected to gratitude. So reach out if you don't know how to do this. Let's talk about what you could be grateful for in your life. Is there somebody that you see that's happy all the time that you could reach out to and say, hey, these are my challenges. How do I shift this around? How do I turn this into something that I can be grateful for? Or where can I find the gratitude in my life so that I'm not so focused on what's bringing me down and the challenges that I'm experiencing? It might just change your personality. It might just change how you see the world and open it up for you to experience more of the good stuff and push some of the negative off to the side. It'll always be there. You can set it on the shelf and deal with it later. But if we can start to live in that state of that place of gratitude, we may start to experience a whole new life, a whole new way of looking at the world. And try to use the journal. I'll also suggest a couple of other books. One is Learned Optimism by Martin Selig, how practicing gratitude can make you happier. I do like Martin Selig. He's written a few other books that I listen to books. I don't read books. Sorry. A few other books that I've listened to. And then the other one that I've been obsessed with, it's been around for a long time, The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. I talked about it 2 or 3 times last month. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to let this go. I listen to it over and over. If I'm struggling, I plug him in. I just love the way that he sees the world, the happiness advantage, and the exercises and things that he suggests to do. They're as simple as doing hashtag, what am I grateful for today? He has some great ideas. So if you want to dive deeper into this, those are 2 resources that are easy. You can check them out at your local library or purchase them on Audible. If you're like me and you like to do audiobooks, or if you're, need to be buried in the book, again, those are both available at your public library. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to start to visit with some guests that I have. I want to know what their opinions is. So we're going to open up the mic, but I'm going to stop the recording first. I just wanted to say, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you want to experience joy and personal fulfillment in your life or work, either your life or your work, my team and I are here to support your business, support business owners with simple solutions. If you could use a bit of advice on how to expand or grow your entrepreneurial business, I would love to help you with that. If your social media strategy is lacking, that's my specialty. Let's discuss how we can get you noticed on social media by more people that you can help. Go ahead and go over to lisamosbey.com. That's Lisa, Mosbey.com, and book some time with me. We'll sit and chat for 30 minutes, all about you. I'd love to hear about your business, what's working, what's not working, and maybe I can offer you a few pointers on how to expand what is working. I hope you found a takeaway or 2 from this idea of gratitude, from this concept. And I'd love to see you back next week when we're talking about giving. It's Thanksgiving week here in the United States, and I want to dive deeper into how giving can make us feel good. So come on back. You'll find us at winwinwomen.tv, looking for the show called Living with Favor. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.